bought out the contents of his shed, and this is all stuff that had been sitting around over the last 60 years. A lot of good stuff here, a lot of old stuff here. So as we get into it, I think we're going to go ahead and start off with this cast iron pan.
Ready?
Yep.
Starting at $15. Still 30 seconds.
All right, and here we are. Good heavy chicken fryer. Make
25 here.
Hey, Whale 25, how you doing tonight? I say she's a little rough on the inside, but that'll all clean right up.
See, Generic wants to know if there's any marbles.
I do have some marbles. I have actually some clay marbles. I think I've got 3 or 4 of the early clay marbles. All right, no cast iron tonight. If anybody's interested in the cast iron later on and wants to see it again, we'll bring it back up. It's number 2. So Abu Garcia. All right. Next item is this Abu Garcia bait caster. Seems to be super smooth. I would imagine the string will need to be changed. Got some wear on it, but everything seems to be nice and smooth. Good brand, made in France, of course, or Sweden. I'm sorry, it's Mitchell that's made in France. But we're gonna go ahead and start this next one up, and we're bidding on this Abu Garcia
Starting at $5.
bait caster with a $5 start.
It's going.
And say, where are you gonna buy your bait caster for $5? May not be the latest greatest, but it'll definitely get the job done. All right. Oh, Whale 25. There you go. It's a good deal. Thank you, sir. Or thank you. I gotta stop and just say thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Whale 25. Thank you. I'll go ahead and start you a bin. All right. What's the next one?
The water pump.
All right. Now the next one is a cool one. I thought I found this in the back corner. It's an old hand pump, cast iron hand pump. Now, of course, when I ship this, if anybody wins it, of course, when I ship it, I'm gonna have to take this handle off here, which, if you look, just a couple bolts. But it's got a styrofoam in there, but I would imagine it seems a little tight if you wanted to use it. But it's got the dragon motif on the front. I'm sure it's been painted, probably been painted a bunch of times. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start that one up. You're bidding
at $20.
Yeah, you're bidding on the ornamental hand pump.
And it's going.
It's a heavy one, but I think we can break her down and get it in a small enough box. And I think it weighs close to 16 pounds or something like that. Welcome, everybody coming in. Come on in. We're just getting started. We've only been through a couple items. We've been through one cast iron pan, one bait caster reel. Right now, we're at this ornate water pump. All right.
What you see?
If speed wrench. If we get through something or something goes by too quick and you come in and you miss it, just ask and we'll bring it back up at a later point. All right. Next we got coming up is a tool.
Oh, you're sure.
Mm-hmm. It's the next one, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the wrench, but that's or the device. That's okay.
Huh?
I didn't get the shipping.
Well, let's go into the bison. Sorry, I got ahead of myself, getting excited and trying to get through some stuff. All right, next item. This is a cool piece of American-made iron right here. We got a probably 70s, early 80s USA made Wilton bench vise. It's got the 5-inch jaws. Again, this is another heavy one. It's going to be kind of costly to ship, but there you go. It's got the 5-inch jaw, depth of about 4 and 4 1/4. It says it does have the pipe. It's nice and smooth.
Are you ready?
Yep. Let's go ahead and start it.
25.
Now you compare prices on these, or even try to go buy one from Harbor Freight, which isn't going to last. It's about double that price. Yes, you're going to pay for shipping, but you're still going to end up with a better tool in the end. And it's still got the sticker on it. Awesome.
Team Generic. I love that name.
I do too. Awesome. Thank you. You're getting a good deal there. Awesome. Thank you. Put that one aside. You got a good deal there. $25 on a Wilton is a pretty good deal.
This?
Yep, we're going to move on to this one.
You said that's KC.
SK.
Oh, I did it wrong. I said it KC.
Let's do. What's that? Riveter. All right. We're going to move on to the next item we have here is an SK Tools. Let me turn this around where everybody can see it. We got an SK Tools speed wrench, USA, of course. There's your part number. Got a good detent ball on the end to keep your socket on there. Has seen you some use, but it's not bent. Hasn't been abused. Could use a piece of steel wool taken to it, maybe a spray of oil, but you can see there, nobody's twisted it or bent it out of shape. Go ahead.
Started at $5.
Yep, I'm gonna start this one at $5. Get it down here. It's about 14 inches long or so. It's SK speed wrench.
I know, but I couldn't change it once it was out there.
Oh.
It's supposed to be SK. But I didn't know that till after I posted it.
Oh, that's all right. Moving up, one member KFC wrench.
It's whatever.
It's a chicken wrench. That's what we'll remember it as from now on.
Hey,
All
I
right.
never claim to know what any of these things are. I'm just here.
All right. Next one, we got an old one. If anybody out there does any kind of leather or canvas work, and you set heavy rivets.
Sit that back in.
All right, we're coming up with the next one here. All right, our next item. Thanks for everybody bearing with us. It's going to take a little longer because we're just pulling from the totes and pulling random stuff. Here we got this patented 1896
I may have spelled riveter wrong.
handy riveter. It's setting rivets in heavy canvas or leather. It's all still functional. Still has its point set in the center. Adjust it to whatever rivet you got. All right. You can run it when you're ready.
Starting it at 5.
Yeah.
It's going.
All right. Here we are. The handy riveter. Set in leather and canvas and denim. Anything heavy. Anything you got to set a big rivet for. Yeah, you got it. Welcome, everybody coming in. How's everybody tonight? All right, there's the riveter. All right, working up the next thing. The next one's a piece of automobile or auto part, I guess you could say. I would assume this is probably from the 60s. No, maybe 1986. No, maybe 1986. But we got this Buick factory RPM gauge.
What do you want to start it up?
Super clean. Got some fugglies on it from being handled and probably being stored for the last 20 years or so. Got your connections in the back. Looks like the assembly that would have made it lit, that had the bulb in it, was missing. You ready?
Yep, starting at 10.
Yep.
And it's going.
All right. Here we have this 1982 Buick analog RPM gauge. Not sure what model, probably a bunch of them. A lot of these things, they didn't change. Seems to be super clean. Chrome should clean up nice. Awesome. Whale 25.
Well, 25 gets a lot of good deals.
Yeah. Yeah, got a good eye too.
Yeah.
It's a neat piece. I would probably put a little LED in it and just use it as a display. Thank you for your purchase.
Do you want to rerun anything we've already ran? Does anybody want us to rerun anything?
If there's anything that we've ran somebody would like to see again or they missed, I put up some cast iron, a pump, a riveter, a speed wrench. If there's any of that, be sure and speak up. And if there is, then we will gladly throw it back up for you. If there's anything in particular you collect and you want to see if I've got one, be sure and ask. Because there's a possibility I do have it here. I have got a wild selection of all kinds of stuff. I've even got the saddle for a big wheel safety bicycle. French-made safety big wheel bicycle seat in this lot. We do have some, as you can see in the display, we can bring these up at any time. Here's, we can bring these. Here's two of the clay marbles.
What is this?
Cutting torch, but it's a Craftsman cutting torch. And I want to say, pick some stuff. Let's see. I don't know what that is. It's kind of crackly looking, but then you got an early clay one there. There's another early clay. For some reason, I thought there may have been one or two more rolling around in here. But we do have the points. Those were all. But all those points were found in southeastern Ohio by the man that owned the estate where all this stuff come from. That was his collection. Every year when they plowed, he'd go out after the rain and he would pick them up. And this is what he collected over the years. So at any point anybody wants to see any of those, we'll throw those out. But our next thing coming up for sale, we have this Craftsman cutting torch. It's an acetylene cutting torch.
Tell me when.
There's a Craftsman. Of course, it's all brass at some point. I don't know if Craftsman painted it gray or if somebody did at one point. Probably did at one point. Now here's a Craftsman. Probably it's a model 62454454741. Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
We're starting at $20.
Yep. Got probably a decent cut tip on it. Might need to be changed. Might need to be. I don't know. All this stuff was pulled from a shed. Only Papaw would be able to tell you, and unfortunately, Papaw can't tell us now.
Who's next? Are these next?
Yeah, this one. All right. Welcome everybody coming in. That was a Craftsman cutting torch. Like I say, if you've missed anything and you want to see it again, be sure and ask. Later on in the sale, we'll throw it back out again. We've got some instrument stuff. This is a Slingerland. What I can find is from the teens, wooden snare. This back here, even though it does say Fender at the very end, I assume by the looks of it, it looks like a Fender Mustang or a Fender. It's not a Stratocaster head. So it must be a Mustang or something along, or Jaguar or something along those lines. That was my creation. I made that. I found they were going to junk it. It was a pinball type machine, and they were going to junk it. So I saved it, put some lights in it. You can't see the lights flickering in it because of the bright lights in here. But I had to save it. Any sports? I think there's one old baseball glove, or maybe. This guy wasn't much into sports. He was more into the tools and old collectibles. All right, we're going to move on to the next time here. We got a Stanley number 62 folding ruler. Great to throw in your pocket. Brass and woods are probably 30s, probably 40s, maybe later, maybe newer than that. Everything moves good. Folds up nice. It seems to be in pretty good shape. Most of the time they got left in the pocket and they got sent on and they would be bowed up. That one's got a little bit of a bow to it, but nothing too bad. That's a Stanley number 62 with a $5 start. And this is the early stuff because it was still the Stanley Rule and Level Company, so it may even be turn of the century. All right. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next item then. With this little antique oil can. There's no maker name on it. I thought it was an Eagle when I first picked it up, but I will wipe it off a little better before I send it out to you. The nozzle's good. And it is a little oily. I will wipe it down real good. Like I say, I just pulled most of this stuff out, but not dented up. Like I say, it should be a little Eagle. Most of these are. I may not just be seeing it. But it's tiny. Sits in the palm of your hand. They're handy to keep on the counter if you do any kind of shop or workbench work. All right. All right, we're going to move on to our next item. Wonder how many of you out there know what this is. Yeah, let's go ahead and start it. Yeah. What we have here, either a fish gig or a frog gig. Put this on the end of a long pole. Then you're able to gig you a fish or gig you a frog. Nice and quiet, nice and quick. Some people catch them live, some people gig them. Could use it for fish if you were good enough. Handy to have in a bag in case you got stuck somewhere and needed it, I guess. All right. All right, coming up on our next item is a completing box. This goes along if you're sewing leather. There's a sewing awl, and the thread's trying to come out down in there. But new, never used. And then there should be the, yep, there's all your blades, your wrench, a couple different sewing needles. Instructions are in the box if you've never used one, but comes in handy if you're fixing canvas, leather, denim.
Started at $10.
All right.
It's going.
We got a new inbox sewing awl. Let's say the instructions in there in case you've never used one before. Let's see. In place. Yeah. You see a date. All right. All right, moving right along.
We gonna start that up.
Next, we have Mac Tools, number SS 1200, USA made. It's a scraper. I will remove that. That won't come with it. That'll be removed before it is shipped. But a good long handled Mac scraper.
We're gonna start it at 10. It's
Yeah.
going.
Here we are. Probably about 11 inches long or so. Like you know, Mac Tools has got the lifetime warranty, so if anything ever happens, I would assume, yep, there's extra blades down in the handle. Welcome everybody, Marley's Poppage. Oh, snap, like the name. All right, that's going down. If you're looking for anything particular, don't hesitate to ask because I probably got it stuck here in a mess. We're slowly working through some of these totes. And as I dig it out, we're listing it. And as I dig it out, we're putting it out here. Anybody wants to see anything in particular, be sure to speak up. Don't be afraid to ask. Because I've probably got it. I've just not got to it yet. All right, we're going to get the next item listed up here. We didn't do it a lot. Like usually, I try to do a lot of blocks up beforehand. This time there was just too much, and I'd rather just pull from the totes, and then it's just as big a surprise for you as it is me. All right, coming up next, Stanley USA, number 259. It's a wooden level. Bottom is nice and straight.
It's going, starting at 5.
Still got good level in it, good bubble there, which any of those, they sell replacements anymore. Looked like it. Yep, it would have had one here. I just noticed it. Now, it's still a cool piece if you restored antique tools. Good candidate. Anyway, all right. We'll move on to the next item. I haven't heard these guys in forever. I don't listen to the radio very often, I guess. All right, moving right along. We're going to move on to the next item. We have this Quantum Series Baitcaster Reel. There's your model number. Everything works nice and smooth. Like I say, all this guy's stuff was really pretty good.
I called it a Dynamac. I thought that was the name of it because it's printed right there on the side.
Yeah, close enough. I think that's the model of it.
I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and start it at $5.
All right.
It's going.
C3, 1984. That's when it was made. Made by the Brunswick Company. Made in Japan. Precision engineered, apparently by Zipco. I didn't know that. Awesome. But like I said before, same one before, still works nice and smooth. Everything reels up nice. Awesome. Thank you, Well 25. We'll put that in your.
I can't do
I'll just put B&O Railroad Ranch. B&O RR Ranch. Next thing's coming up is really cool. This is a turn of the century. It was a wrench that was bought for the B&O Railroad. So it is stamped in a couple of different places. It would have been stamped by the railroad company after they purchased it. It's heavy wrench. It's not a monkey wrench. These were kind of like the adjustable wrenches of the day. All right, here we are. The next one. See if I can get you to see this name here. Probably not. The Kimu Manufacturing Company. Or I can't even read that now.
Well, I couldn't read it.
It's stamped right here as B&O Railroad. Right there is B&O. B&O right there. You can see it there ever so.
I'm gonna go ahead and start it at 20.
Yep,
For
go
30
ahead.
seconds, it's going.
You can barely see it, but it's stamped there. It's an all steel wrench. There's no wood in this one like a lot of them. Everything turns freely. Hasn't been beat on and twisted up and bent. The jaws ain't all bent. There it is. I wish the stamp, it's like a round stamp. It's right here that you can't really make out. All right. Let's see. Do rock knife one. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and try one of these points. The next piece is actually, it's not a point. This is a knife blade. Like I say, these are all original. These were found in southeastern Ohio. I'm not sure exactly which area, because he had a couple different farms and he had a couple different plots. So, but it was still in that general area. All right, next item. Piece of napped rock. And this was a knife blade. This would have been hafted into an antler or something of that nature.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
It's gonna start at $10. 30 seconds, it's going.
Yeah. It's an awesome piece. It really looked cool to be hafted back up into an antler. But to think the amount of age, how long that thing probably laid in the ground before somebody found it. How about? All right. Might not have no rock collectors tonight.
Maybe on another night.
All right, let me go pull from another tub here.
There's so much.
Bear with me, folks. I'm getting stuff together here.
If there's anything you guys have seen already that you want to see again, just let us know. We'll pull it back up. Caught myself on that.
All right, next one is another unique piece. Here's another one, patented 1893, I think it is. For some reason, none of this is showing up on this that you can see. It's an early hoop handle wrench, apparently hammer. They intended it to be a hammer. And this one may need a little awl. Yeah, this one's going to need a little awl on it. It's got a little crunchy spot there in it, but should clean up well.
All right, you started at 10. 30 seconds, it's going.
And so these have got a patent. There's the marking on it.
It's pretty cool. It's old.
Yeah, these hoop wrenches, the handles being hooped like at date 1890s,
Is this next?
turn of the century. Yeah. All right. All right, our next item, we're going to move right along. This is a little one here. I wish I had the key, but I don't. But this is an early master lock made in Milwaukee. If you desperately wanted a key, I'm sure you could get one for it. But it's got the lion, I think that is.
All right, you started.
Oh, go ahead.
You started at $3.
Yep, $3 start.
Seconds, it's going.
What kind of a unique little lock? Be an early master lock for those out there who collect padlocks. I can say I wish I had the key for it, but that was probably lost a long time ago. But at one time, I would say somebody could have cut you a key just from that number right there. All right. It's a keen cutter.
King what?
Keen, K-E-E-N, cutter. Wood plane. All right, coming up next, we've got us a keen cutter, wood plane. Bed on it's in pretty good shape, dirty. Blade's decent on it. I don't see no real big chips or nothing in it. I'm sure it's going to need to be clean. Handle's in decent shape. All the parts are there. Go ahead.
All right, you started at $20. Going 30 seconds.
Yep. The keen cutters, that stuff, USA made, of course. Made a lot of axes. They made all kinds of stuff. You don't see very many of their block planes. They'll need a little cleanup. That's the problem Papaw had. He just couldn't keep up with everything, and you let it sit too long, it starts getting a little surface rust on it. All right.
I don't know what these are called.
Just put
I just put tools.
brands,
Brand.
number brands.
Like that.
All right, coming up next. Now these are kind of unique. I'm not sure.
Which one?
I'm not really sure. I don't think they're for branding. They could be, but they're aluminum. They could be for stamping concrete when you're doing addresses, if you're doing curbs or something like that. But I'm pretty sure there's 1 through 9 here. But it's all, they're all, of course, knotted up into a knot, but
Ready when you are.
go ahead.
You start them at $10, 30 seconds, and they're going.
So you got 7, 8. Like I say, I don't think they're for branding an animal. I feel like they're for stamping concrete or something because they're not heavy enough. Aluminum just doesn't hold enough heat. I don't believe the brand, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, just like I thought. 1 through 9. All right.
Scroll around and see.
Let's just keep this going for a little bit here and see how it goes. Let's bring it up. There's so much. If there's anything anybody wants to see, be sure and ask. All right, this is a cool one. We'll get her to. But we have other rocks. I do have a CB radio here that works. It's ready to go in your car. Got the magnetic antenna on it. Got some other car parts and bits and pieces.
Roku.
Mystery tool. I can do this too. All right, guys. Now this next one, I'm not even really sure. I think it's an early rug stretcher type of thing. It's early. It's hand forged, but it has a spike there, spikes there, and I assume that locks in. And then this spike's there. Or if you had somebody you didn't like, you could probably come up with something interesting for it. But I'm going to call it a carpet tool, but I'm not sure what it is.
Starting at a 5, going.
If anybody out there happens to know what it is, it's got some pretty aggressive teeth. And this big spike, I'm not sure. It looks like you could get there and maybe leverage something after it locked in. I don't know. It is. You get a hold of it. You got here, and then this big spike down here that you could run through your hand. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of safety warnings when you get back into that old stuff or instructions. All right. Right angle drill. All right, here we go. We're going to move right along. We don't mess around. We got a lot to get through here. All right, our next item is a General Tool USA number 924. It's a right angle drill attachment. It does have the chuck key. Seems to be nice and smooth. Has the handle. Of course, it has the Jacobs chuck, USA, all USA made stuff. Multi-craft. So it will go down to a pretty small size if you're doing smaller things.
That was 924, right?
Yeah. Started.
Going.
But the chuck works nice and smooth. I can do it by hand. It said everything's going to need a little Earl and a little bit of steel wool run over it. But where are you going to get USA made anything anymore, really? Even Craftsman is not made in USA anymore. All right. Let's see, we'll get this next item up and ready here. Of course, it's all wrapped up. All right. All right, bear with me, folks. I'm digging out the next 60 item here. One that's a Craftsman pruning saw. Alright, folks, we're working on it. Bear with us just a second. It's taking a little longer to get things listed up tonight. All right, coming up next, we have a Craftsman. Sears Craftsman 85302 pruning saw. Opens up, got the locking blade on it. Seems to be in pretty good shape. Still has some life left on the blade, it looks like. Hadn't been sharpened all crazy. Yep. Folds up nice, if I could see. There we have a Craftsman folding pruning saw. Everything's long and big tonight. There we are. Got a little twist to it, but nothing too bad. All right. All right. Next we have up is a motorcycle part. How about that? It's filthy. But the chrome's nice on it. Made in Japan, so it was for probably a Honda. That's what it looks like. See, it looks like a Honda mount. I should have cleaned that, but I didn't. Yep. But probably early 80s, 70s. Motorcycle mirror. Kind of a high rise would be your left hand side mirror. But chrome is good. That's some kind of sticker or something that was put on there. Okay. All right, coming up next, we have is a Armstrong clarinet. Why he had a clarinet in there, I'm not sure. but it's complete. There's a serial number. All the pads look good on it if you know anything about these. I don't see any of the pads that look bad on it. You got the mouthpiece. Now, of course, that may show some wear because, well, it's a mouthpiece. Go ahead. But we got all the pieces, a case, cleaning rags and whatnot. Did you? Did you march in school? Or did you play concert? Or did you march? Do football games? Oh, elementary school. I started in elementary and unfortunately played all through high school. Played football and marched in band at the same time. All right. Clarinets. That's bracelet. Uh, all right. Coming up next, we got some early, I would probably say 1920s is when this is from. And they are a set of brace bits, probably a little bit random, but some of them look brand new, like they've never been used. Alrighty.
Starting at 15.
All right. There's one. There's some larger ones in here. Still comes with the spider webs. That's free. I won't charge extra. But there you are. Let me hit the camera around. And that's a snail. Never even heard of that. So you're getting a mixed lot. It's in an Irwin box, but a mixed lot of auger bits. The packaging's pretty cool. All right. Let's see. Anything anybody looking for they'd like to see? Double bit. I have got all kinds of things. Anybody looking for anything in particular, be sure and ask. As long as it's old. As long as it's something that I think he was 85. As long as it's something that an 85-year-old man would have collected, I've probably got it here. All right. Moving on. Yeah, me too. It's a problem I have. I call this guy a hoarder, and I've said it two or three or 12 times, but
The guy in the mirror?
Yeah, the guy in the mirror. That's it. It's a bad habit. All right, next item up. I would say it's a 5-pounder. It seems like a 5-pound double bit axe head. I don't see a manufacturer on it, but that doesn't mean anything. A little bit of cleaning, you'd probably.
I'm starting at 10.
It's probably under there. Got a little bit of the original handle. It's got plenty of meat left. Hasn't been sharpened all down. If this one don't end up selling, I'll probably clean it up myself. See if I can't find the name under it. Run it under a wire wheel. I don't see it. All right. Looks like that one's going to be forced to be a project for me at some point. All right. What we got next? We got the little egg beater style drill. It's an egg beater. Looked like I said I was having a bad connection. Hopefully I'm still coming through. Here we have the little egg beater style. Probably from the 40s or 50s. I don't see a maker name on it. But the little chuck opens and closes nice and good. If you were working on smaller items, you can get them smaller bits in there. Probably could use a drop of oil on her.
I'm gonna start it. It's going.
But she's a tiny little dude. They say there's no maker's mark that I can find on it. But the chuck opens and closes. Probably could use a little lubrication. And believe it or not, I have used one of these a time or two. They come in handy when you don't have power around. I wouldn't want to be drilling enough holes to be doing it all day, but for a couple, it's not too bad. Okay. All right, coming up next, we've got a Craftsman, probably from the 60s.
I'm gonna start it.
Yeah, go ahead. Now, these aren't pipe wrenches. These were the adjustable wrenches of the day. This one needs a little bit of oil put on it, but it's still moving. I just can't get it. It just needs a little TLC, but like I say, I'll leave that up to the new owner. That green paint leads me to believe it was in some kind of institution somewhere. All right. All right, going right along with more tools. Here's another piece that would be good for the leather crafter, the canvas. If you were a black powder shooter and cut patches, I believe for a 69 caliber, that'd probably be about right to cut your patch with, or if you're just cutting holes. It is an Adco USA. I've got a whole couple sets of these. These are good punches, especially if you do a lot of leather work, canvas, or like I say, you cut a lot of patches. You can smack it one time and be done. Cut a whole stack of them, actually. They're fairly sharp. Probably could handle to be touched up. I got my hands filthy from this stuff. About 5 inches long. Looks like it does an 1.25 inch hole. All right. All right, moving right along here, folks. Nice and quick. If there was something you wanted to see to come that I've already brought up, or you wanted to make an offer and see if I would run it for a little bit less, I may, if you ask nicely, I may do that. Those mowers. All right. Coming up next, we have a pocket door lock set and some, looks like porcelain. I need some steel wool taken to them, but a porcelain knob set with the lock set. And if you got old house, it even locks. This one's fully functioning.
Started.
So we got a All right, Victorian era pocket door lock set with the Dobbs complete. And if I could find I've got a couple of them skeleton keys lying around.
What is this?
Hmm.
What is this?
It's a gasoline torch. All right. Well, I think this is the next item is probably going to be our last one for tonight. Just not having any luck picking the best nights for some of this stuff on Whatnot. I really wish they had some analytics to let you know what's the best nights and different things. But I think we're going to throw this last thing, Whale 25, if you're here. Car stuff. I've got a couple more things here, but they're buried. I was hoping to get to them, but they're in the bottom of a tote here. And I think what I'm going to do is probably. I think what I'm going to probably do is probably do another one Wednesday or Thursday, Whale 25. So keeping an eye out. I'm probably going to try to do this again, probably Thursday. I know it's getting kind of close to Christmas, so things are going to get tight for folks. But keep an eye out. I'll probably reschedule and do it either Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll make sure to dig out all the car stuff. I've got some early. I've got an early oil lamp that would have been either for an early car or a buggy. Really neat. But we're going to get on to the last item here. It's this little gasoline torch. Kind of neat little small handheld thing. The link.
I'm going to start it.
Yeah. Yep. Little link. And if you've not gotten it yet, well, 25, all your other stuff went out, what, 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Friday.
Yeah, so everything that you got at the last sale's been shipped. It should be on its way to you. Cool little display. Hey, no problem. We appreciate you so much. You've been by every one of our sales, and we appreciate you stopping in. We really do. But keep an eye out for us. And like I say, probably Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to do this one again. I'm going to try another Papaw's 2, I guess, and see if we can attract a little more attention. Maybe throw some more out on the socials. If you can know any way of sharing it to get it out there, let them know for me. But I do appreciate you stopping by Whale 25, and I will see you probably Wednesday or Thursday.